it's been officially reported now by Aditi Kikwabala of the NFL Network. Shout out to Aditi as well, man. She's awesome. But yeah, Taco Charlton, right? So Taco, first round pick from 2017 draft. People will remember him because he went 2 spots before TJ Watt to the Dallas Cowboys, is scheduled to visit the Pittsburgh Steelers sometime today. And from there, he'll have his physical. And if he passes his physical, all the reports are that he will be joining the practice squad for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that is pretty interesting, especially on the heels of the TJ Watt news, right? In terms of him having the groin injury that ultimately knocked him out the game after what? 2 quarters essentially?
Yeah, it was like right before halftime.
Right before halftime. So even though the initial reports are that it's not going to be something long term and he could potentially play this weekend,
there are differing reports on could he play this week versus
like it's going to be a 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. So that part is definitely interesting to see right now. But as a whole, I can understand why they would make the move. My biggest question is fit per se. I can understand why they make the move because, I mean, with Jameer Jones as the third rusher, technically when TJ is healthy, people, didn't feel as good about his performance versus the Raiders compared to him in the preseason, right? And with Taco is a bigger name, right? Higher pedigree guy, bigger athlete too, 6'6", 270. And he has had some success, not a lot of success. He's bounced around a couple of teams, but he has been
5 sacks with the Dolphins a couple years back in 10 games.
Yeah. So that part is there. But whenever you get a first round draft pick that has bounced on this many teams in this short a span,
3 and 4 years,
he has flaws. Consistency being one of them. Playing against the run. Being just, living up to that talent of a first round pick. But is that more intriguing than a guy like Jameer Jones? Right now, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, it might be worth taking a look at, just depending on how this TJ Watt growing situation plays out. Because as we've talked about, the groin, man, it can linger. It's a soft tissue injury, and you will feel great at times. And yeah, just like that, you can have it pull again, or you can tweak it again. And luckily, we'll actually hear this from Coach. He's talking right now, probably, but we will know the full extent of it. But since they didn't say he was going to need surgery, that lets you know that he didn't pull it off the bone, which is huge. That's the most important part. He didn't do that, so he's good there. The rest is just how much rest is he going to be allowed, or how much is he going to take in terms of his rest? Because you have to remember, TJ did not have training camp. So part of him resting still is counterproductive to the part where he needs to be getting up to speed as well, or continuing to get up to speed with his body and stuff like that. So that's going to be unique in terms of just how the Steelers and TJ Watt handled that situation, man.
You called it, though.
Don't put that on me, man.
I know.
I don't want that. I don't want that.
That is kind of an impressive call.
I don't want that, man. I don't want that, man.
With this move, it's not something to get super excited about.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like the Witherspoon pickup.
That's a really good analogy.
But actually, I think it's something to get less excited about, just because Witherspoon was more in a position of need, whereas with Highsmith, Ingram, it's like, man, best case for Charlton, he's barely seeing the field for us. And that's for his personal sake, like the amount of snaps that he'll be getting, because we still have Ingram, Highsmith. He'll be getting the Jameer Jones role, which is how many snaps in a game? 20%. But then TJ Watt comes back, then he goes to 0. Witherspoon, who knows how this season plays out with the cornerbacks?
True, very true.
Could he be getting a starter's role? Could he be getting 50%? It's wide ranging for him, which I thought was more of a need, but they're both potential high upside guys, and there's really no risk to it right now.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it's something to get crazy excited about, though.
For me, man, if you're Taco, I just the fit, because he is a 4'3" DN, 6'6", 270. That's really big for outside linebackers in Pittsburgh, and he's too thin to go and play like DN here like Cam Hayward would, just because of the style of our defense. But sub package ball is where I think he could carve out a role. But the problem is, I don't want to take off. I'm definitely not taking off TJ Watt, but I don't want to even think of taking off Alex Highsmith for Melvin Ingram for Taco. I just think those guys are better players. They're more productive right now. Whereas with Taco, I like the potential, but dude, it's been a couple of years now. If it ain't materialized by now, it probably isn't. Like, that's just kind of how I view those type of players right there, man. So it's gonna be interesting to see, though, just how this thing goes. If, everything works out with the physical and it does happen where he signed, how long till we see him get a hat?
Because he's on practice squad right now.
He'll be on practice squad, yeah.
Joseph's still on practice squad. I don't know how eager they're going to be to bump him up for this game.
But you think about, Joseph came first. Akello was after Joseph, but then Akello got a helmet and was playing significant snaps, this past game, man.
Well, we didn't know this secret Trey Norwood role the Steelers were keeping behind the scenes here. Bro, because I thought after preseason, it's like
both ways now.
Trey Norwood, he's going to practice squad. We're bumping up Carl Joseph, but actually Trey Norwood has got a very significant role in the defense, and that's why Carl Joseph hasn't been pulled up. So I don't know if it's going to be that case. Are we just going to drop down Jameer Jones? Are we going to keep him on the roster, maybe drop down someone else and pull up Taco Charlton right away?
Something, man.
Because Akello wasn't even signed to the practice squad.
Correct.
Whenever we had traded for him.
Yeah, we had traded, so he went active to active right there, man. But that's going to be interesting, man, seeing how this thing plays out. I know people are calling for Carl Joseph, man. I know that. Justin Reynolds, I see you in the chat, baby. Yeah, we're going to find. We'll see, man, how long it takes for Carl to get a helmet. I don't anticipate it being crazy long, though, man. Just in the sense that we talked about some of the tackling, right? We talked about just on the back end, those little things. If that type of stuff continues, it won't take long for Carl to be out there.
Yeah, that's one of his specialties.
Absolutely.
That's what we liked about
him.
Right.
So that's why I say it like that. It's not, hey, man, y'all play so bad, this is going to happen. But it's just we saw how it impacted the game. It doesn't kill you, but it's a slow bleed. And that does kill you in the long run, which we saw, on Sunday and stuff like that. So that part I could see if that continues like that.
Well, yeah, because it was two different stories from week one to week two. Week one, it was like, holy hell, we're so physical here. Cam Sutton, Trey Norwood, I would never have expected this. And then week two, Pierre's missing those tackles, getting juked out by Renfro. Cam Sutton's missing tackles too. So it's like, which one are we going to be seeing more? So if we see more week 2 and week 3 and 4, then yeah, you're right. Yeah. Joseph, we got to pull him up out of necessity then.
Absolutely, man.
I saw the Packers were having him in for a visit yesterday, and I was hearing rumblings about us. I just couldn't get anything confirmed, but then you said a Dede right before we hopped on. I was like, wow, this is quick. He went to visit the Packers. Now he's the Steelers.
And
now
then doing our interview, it popped up on the screen. It was
it's official?
Well, they were saying that he was finishing up the physical, but that was like popping. I'm like, all right, shout out. Yeah.
It's interesting, too, when you look back at that draft with us taking T.J. Watt, Cowboys passing up on T.J. Watt, selecting him. Taco, I wonder how interested we were in Taco, considering T.J. was an edge rusher. Both of them guys are edge rushers like that.
But Taco was the guy. Taco was the name. That was the guy that we all talked about, obviously because he was at Michigan. I liked his size, 6'6", 270, but for me, it was weird in terms of the comparison of him and TJ because I thought TJ was always an outside linebacker, 3-4 type, whereas Taco was a legit DN. So I was just kind of always like, well, if we're just talking about them rushing the passer, sure, Taco at the time was the better rusher to me, but we know what TJ is now. Obviously, it's after the fact, but TJ during that
we got the good end
frame,
of that deal.
Yeah, but at that frame, TJ was like, all right, he's an athlete, he's long, we know he's JJ's little brother. That was kind of like, yeah. Whereas with Taco, it was like, yo, he's playing at Michigan. We're seeing this. We believe this guy right here.